Hey everyone, today I'm doing another patch notes and designer notes reading. Normally I split these into different videos, but today I'm just going to do both at the same time. First I'm going to cover the patch notes and then the designer notes, so if you want to hear just the designer notes, I'm going to put a timestamp on the video right now so you can skip forward and go watch that. With that all said, let's get into Operation Shifting Tides. So for those of you who haven't watched my videos covering the TTS and all the new operators, here they are. Here is the new attacker, Callie. She has the only bolt action sniper rifle in the entire game, the CSRX 300. If it hits you anywhere in the chest, it'll immediately down you no matter what. If it hits you in the arms and legs, it'll usually do anywhere between like 17 to 50 damage. And if it hits you in the head, obviously it's a instant kill. It comes with a 4 times, I believe, and 12 times scope. And the special gadget is a lance, which when you shoot it at a reinforced wall, it'll destroy any gadgets on the other side of it, as well as on your side of it. For the rest of her loadout, she's equipped with the P226 pistol and the C75 auto. And then for side gadgets, she has breaching charges and claymores, and she is a 2-speed, 2-armor operator. So she's an interesting operator with a very deadly weapon, as well as a very utility and team-oriented gadget. I'll play a little clip of it here so you guys can see how it works. So as you can see, when used, it will destroy bandits on the other side of the wall. However, it'll also destroy thermite charges or Hibana pellets on your side of the wall, so you have to be careful how you use it. Moving on to the next operator, we have Wamai. He is our new defender and basically Jaeger alternative. He has a gadget which is basically a replacement for Jaeger, which I'll show you right now. So how it works is basically whenever you throw a grenade, or any type of projectile, the magnet system will grab it, reset its timer, pull it towards it, and then detonate it. So your projectiles will still go off. That means capital bolts, frag grenades, flashbangs, all those things will still detonate, but they won't go directly to you and they'll get intercepted. Overall, a pretty powerful gadget, and this means that now Jaeger is up for bans. Especially considering that Wamai has now the second ever assault rifle on defense, the AUG 82. IQ's AUG. He's also equipped with the MP5K, Mute's MP5. And for his secondary weapons, he has the Rhino pistol thing that Alibi and Maestro have, and the P12 pistol. And for secondary gadgets, barbed wire and deployable shield, and he too is a 2-armor, 2-speed operator. Also, it's important to know that the AUG, even though it has an ACOG on IQ, it does not have an ACOG on Wamai. So it won't be completely broken on launch. And also I should add in for his special ability, the magnet system, he gets 5 total, but he starts off with 1 and gets a new one. I think it's like every 42 seconds or so. So the longer you stay alive, the more you get out of it, kind of like Legion. So it's definitely not someone who you want to sprint around the map with and roam before you can put down all your gadgets. Moving on, we have the map rework, which is Theme Park. I won't get into this too much because if you want to see it, you can go watch my videos on it. All the early access videos we had were on Theme Park. But basic summary, they just completely took out Train, reorganized some of the rooms, and then made a couple part of the maps easier to navigate. Overall, it's probably one of the best reworks they've done. It's more reworky than Canal, but less so than Hereford. And it's obviously better than Hereford. So go check out my videos if you want to see how the map looks. And next up, limb penetration. This is a big deal. A lot of people have been talking about it, and it's going to change a lot for not getting scammed on kills anymore. Basically, how it works right now is, before Shifting Tides, if you were to flashbang someone, let's say IQ here, she gets flashbanged, you put your arm up to cover your face. If someone is to shoot towards your face and your hand or arm blocks it, you'll only take about 20 damage because it hits the arm, it doesn't hit the head. But now what they're doing is that if you shoot and it goes through the hand but then it hits the head, it counts as a headshot. So no longer will you have to be worried about flashing people and them just absorbing the bullets with their hands. Now you can actually kill them with one shot. This also goes for when people are crouch walking around and they have both their arms in front of them. And if you shoot through the arms, it'll still hit the chest. The reason why this was finally added is because of Callie. Because if you were to shoot someone in the chest, but their arms were in the way, it would only count as an arm shot and not as an instant down torso shot. So they had to add it because of her. There's also a couple breakdowns on weapon categories for how much penetration it'll do. There's the first class, which has no type of limb penetration, which are shotguns and secondary SMGs. So if you push in with like a bearing 9 or SMG 11 and someone's hand is in the way, it'll still block the bullets. Same with the shotgun. And then there's a second tier which includes guns like SMGs, assault rifles, pistols, and LMGs, where it will go through arms and legs of the same person in order to hit their chest or head. So basically any type of primary weapon. But then there's a third type which has full limb penetration, which will go through multiple people. So if you have two operators lining up, just so happen to shoot at one of them, it'll go through the one person and hit the second one behind them. The guns that are included in this are the Boss G, Kaden, Goyo shotgun, and sniper rifles. So basically any of the DMRs like Dokkaebi Buck or Blackbeard. But it's important to note that it won't do full damage when it goes through them. It goes down by 30% for each person. So you're not going to get amazing one tap, kill 5 people with each shot just because it penetrates them. But you will do a lot of damage. And then they mention here, which is actually an important change, which I wasn't aware of, is that now that bullets can go through limbs, they're reducing the amount of damage it does to your limbs. So instead of being 65% reduced, now it's 75%, which means that you'll only do 25% of the total damage of your gun if you hit them in the arms or legs. Moving on, another big change, the repel exit. Honestly, quite a big fan of this, just because it's very annoying trying to repel upside down and accidentally getting repelled up onto the roof when you didn't want to. Now, every single person, there's no option to turn this off, but every single person when you repel, you're going to have to hit your repel button again when you get to the top in order to repel up or even down. This way you can hang on windows much more confidently without having to worry about which buttons you're tapping. Next we also have the Capitão Elite skin, which I have shown in the preview videos. Overall, fairly nice. It's basically just a younger version of Capitão with more soccer gear on. I'll play the animation for you right now. Next up we have price decreases, which will impact people who don't have all the operators yet, and this will also impact my next Siege School episode, which should hopefully come out within the first 2 weeks of Shifting Tides being released, and that will be the which DLC operator should I buy updated video. But anyways, now these 7 operators will be cheaper. Hibana and Echo will be 10,000 renown, Dokkaebi, Vigil, and Zofia will be 15,000, and Nomad and Cade will be 20,000. And for those of you who don't know about the operator price decreases, basically every single year, the 1-year-old, 2-year-old, and 3-year-old operators will go down in price. This way it'll be more affordable for new people to buy operators and not have to worry about saving up 25k for every single DLC operator, especially now that DLC operators outnumber original operators. Then we have 2 seasonal skins, which to be honest I'm not too big of a fan of. We used to get 4 per season, but now we're only getting 2, and they're, in my opinion, getting worse in quality. But those are the skins. But moving on to operator balancing, this is a big one which is finally coming out to live servers and has been on the test servers for a while. And Jackal is getting somewhat of a rework, so he won't be as crazy overpowered as he is now. I still think he'll get banned a lot, but it won't be nearly as much as he is now. But now for Jackal, the amount of pings he gets per scan depends on how old the footprints are. The older the footprint, the less pings you get. So now it's when they're light blue, you only get 2 pings. I think it's green, you get 3, yellow, you get 4, and then red, you get 5. But red is, if I'm not mistaken, footprints that are less than 20 seconds old. So for the most part now, it'll be more worthwhile to not ping if they're really that close. That way you can just kill them and save a ping. But the whole point of this was to make it where he can't be as oppressive as he is now, where someone could go get hatches and then roam, but 2 minutes later get pinged 5 times and then killed just because they didn't leave quick enough. And then on top of that now, whenever Jackal scans someone, all existing footprints of that operator will disappear, but any new ones that they create will stay. So Jackal can still scan people multiple times, but the footprints are going to disappear, so you can't scan the same set over and over again like what you can do now. And another big change is that Jackal can no longer see or scan footprints from below, meaning that if he's on one floor above, he won't even be able to see footprints until he drops down. because as it stood, it was easy for him to open up a hatch and then just look around to see where the footprints were going and see where people had gone, as well as scanning them. They also improved the interaction between him and Caveat of Sound Step. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure what that is, but I'm excited to see how it impacts Cav. And now instead of breaching charges, he has a Claymore, which honestly isn't really going to change much. Everyone uses smokes. And they added some VFX changes, which are all nice. But big change for Jackal, and hopefully we won't see him banned every single match in the foreseeable future. And a few other new changes, just small things. Gadget trajectory, asset destruction. What that essentially means is that they're changing the way that objects are destroyed so that they don't block your projectiles. This way you don't have little props getting in the way of a C4 grenade as you're throwing it and then it bounces back at you and kills you. And they changed some code which won't affect us, but basically it's just making it so the game has more longevity. They also renamed casual to quick match, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it's whatever. And also a somewhat big change that a lot of people weren't too happy about, at least in the casual community, is that now casual or quick match and newcomer will have 2 attack and then 2 defense, or 2 defense into an attack in a row, as opposed to attack, defense, attack, defense. This is to get people more familiarized with rank before they go into it. And then something else that's small, Hibana and Mira have been re-recorded in terms of their voice lines. Nothing that many of us will really notice. And that's it for this patch notes. They also have this huge list of bug fixes if you want to go see it, but I'm not going to bother. I should be linking the patch notes to the top of the description, so if you want to go read it through yourself, go ahead. But now we're going to move on to the designer notes. So a lot of these designer notes have been things that were updated on the TTS and I knew about before and I've covered in videos, and now we're going to go through and talk about some of the changes coming with the next season. There's a lot of gadget as well as weapon balancing changes. First up, Cav SMG being increased from 36 to 40 damage because as far as I'm aware, I'm pretty sure it's the least damaging SMG in the game. So now people will be more likely to choose the Cav SMG as opposed to the shotgun. This next one hurts me to say every single time, but Ella's shotgun is getting nerfed. They constantly say everywhere that she has a huge amount of operator bans on console, but yet a lot of people in my community say they've never seen her banned once, so I'm not entirely sure who to believe here. But they've nerfed the shotgun so it does less damage beyond 10 meters, and the spread is increased and accuracy is reduced. If you watched my video from earlier this week, you can see that it's still fairly good to use, it's just that you can't hit people from very far, which I guess is fair for a shotgun, but I feel like the shotgun still took a decent amount of skill to fully utilize. And they also did me double dirty this time, not just the Ella shotgun, but also Finka / Capcan / Tachanka shotgun is also getting nerfed. So somewhat ripped my Finka rushes, but the spread and accuracy have been changed. Spread increased, accuracy decreased. Overall, not a huge fan of this one, but hey, apparently console players are upset. Another big change is Boss G getting its ACOG. I made the prediction, which apparently I was wrong, that if Boss G kept its ACOG going to live servers, that the Boss G itself would get nerfed, but apparently they don't think that's necessary. What they say here is that basically they think it's proper for the balancing, but overall I do think that either something's going to have to be done to the Boss G's damage drop-off, or the ACOG is going to have to be removed. Because right now it's way too easy as Vigil to run out of spawn, just shoot one random shot into the distance and hit someone in the body and do 70 or 80 damage. At least with someone like Doc or Rook, when you run out, you either have to hit the head, or if you hit their body, you only do like 5 to 10 damage. Meanwhile, having one shotgun do 80 damage across the map as you spawn is not fun. So I do feel like they have to do something for damage drop-off, but who knows. Next, Glaz got a bit of a buff. Ever since he has to stay still to see his thermal, he's been kind of, well, shit. But now they made it where even when he has no thermal at all, when he looks at people, he sees them just as bright as he did before. He just won't be able to see them through smoke. So now it's not going to be completely washed out and very hard to see people, but they'll actually stand out. And next up, Cade, getting a decent buff. Now his Electric Claw, instead of being 0.75 meters, is 1.3 meters, which is a really big buff because now he can get his claw into even more obscure places and cover hatches as well as walls from a decent distance. And then he also got his impact grenades replaced with barbed wire. I feel like this is a huge buff for him, especially with Callie coming into the mix. Callie's gadget only has so much of a range to destroy these things. Now that Cade can hide it somewhere super convoluted and complicated, Callie probably won't be able to destroy it. And they said the reason why they did this is because they didn't want to give him a third Electric Claw, because 3 is a little too much to deal with, so that increasing the radius will balance that out. And next up with Warden, he loses his barbed wire and gets a C4. That I'm not too big on, but that's mainly because I used to play Warden, or still do play Warden, like I do Smoke, where I just put down barbed wire and then hold an angle with a shotgun. So now you're going to have to rely on your teammates to bring barbed wire for you. And the benefit of the C4 is that now when people are planting and he can see them through smoke, he can actually try to kill them with C4 as opposed to having to shoot. But they're still looking at more options and will probably buff Warden as needed. Jackal we already talked about, like I mentioned before. He has 5, 4, 3, 2 pings depending on how old the footprints are. And then, like I said before, in case if you did skip the patch notes portion or just listen to this part, once you scan a set of footprints, they disappear. You have to find new footprints, and you can't just scan the same ones over and over and over again. And limb penetration, here's a handy dandy graph to show you how the penetration works. I already covered that though, so we'll move on. Just kidding, there's nothing else left. But that is it for the designer notes as well as the patch notes. Operation Shifting Tides will hopefully be coming out in the first week of December if I had to take a wild guess. And I'm very much looking forward to playing it, as I feel like it'll be a lot more stable and a lot more balanced than Ember Rise. I'm also super excited to see how Wamai and Callie mix up the meta, seeing as how they're supposed to be alternatives to very popular operators like Thatcher and Jaeger. That's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.